I'd like to introduce Anthony Berger he's the National Director of Cub Scouting, VSA, to give us the program on Cub Scouts.
Hey, thank you very much. I like to move around a lot, and I know that the projector's right here, so if I ever get my head's in the way, someone just shout at me and say, move over, all right? So thank you for having me today. We're going to talk about the updates that we're making to the Cub Scout program that take effect June 1st. Raise your hand if you are slightly aware of what's going on. Oh, great. Okay, good. Excellent. You guys are much better than Tulsa was. I spoke to them this morning, all right? So only about half the crowd there knew that there were some changes coming on. So before I get started, though, I want to kind of take you on a little bit of a journey we've been on actually for a while. When I got to the National Service Center, there were lots of things in Cub Scouting that I knew were broken, that needed to be fixed. I'm a recovering Cub Master. I had to start a pack for my son because the school he was going to didn't have a pack, and I was Scout Executive at the time. So I had to start a pack as a Scout Executive because my whole career I was trying to convince volunteers to step up and be with your kid and do Cub Scouting. I had to do the same thing now. And I remember that that time was not a fond memory for me. It was difficult. It was hard. I still didn't understand what arrow points were. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know, compass points. Really didn't know what that was. So when I got here, part of the conversation we were having was welcoming girls in the Cub Scouting. And that's really what drove me to the position and to be a part of that. And then there were other changes I wanted to make, but the challenge was we didn't want to make changes and welcome girls at the same time because people would associate the change with welcoming girls. Like, oh, we can't do that anymore because girls, or something stupid like that, right? So we didn't want that to happen. So there are some things that we made a decision on a long time ago that you just may now see the results of because of inventory. For example, this is not simple. This is very layered and complex, right? So when we started Lions as a pilot and then we brought Lions on board as a full program of Cub Scouting, someone asked me, are we going to have a Lion Den Leader patch? My response was, where's the Wolf and Bear Den Leader patch? Right? And you start thinking about this and you're like, you know what? Den Leaders don't get excited about taking another patch off their uniform and putting another patch on every year. Right? So we have eliminated the Tiger Den Leader and Weela's Den Leader patch. Now, you may still see them in your scout shops, but we have stopped producing them for 4 years now. That's how much inventory we probably had left over. Just to go to show you, people weren't buying that. Like, if someone asked me what patch should I get, I would say, just get the Den Leader one, right? So the next one was, why do we have, for one badge of rank, we have 2 different patches? That was confusing, right? And then the Weeblos uniform was confusing. And then my favorite are the socks. Do we need Tiger socks? Like, I remember when Tigers was rolled out, and they get crazy with Tiger stuff. There's all orange stuff. They came out with all this stuff. And so we don't need Tiger socks. We stopped making Tiger socks, right? And then do we need 3 different belts for Cub Scouting? No. We really just need one, right? So we really simplified this, and you just may now start seeing that impact in your scout shops as inventories are now starting to get depleted. So here's the thing. If you're in retail, anyone in retail? All right, so retail will tell you the more SKUs you have, the more sales you're going to make, right? That's true unless you're a monopoly. We're a monopoly. You can't get the stuff from anyone but us. There's only one thing that drives sales in National Supply. What do you think that is?
Membership.
Yes, specifically.
New joiners.
Where are the new joiners? Cub Scouting. Right? We grow Cub Scouting, we're going to grow national. Sales and supply will go up. It's not that hard. You can't work around it. There's only one way to that path. And so we really don't make more sales by having more Den Leader patches. We don't make more sales by having different socks. We don't make more sales by having different belts because people just weren't buying into it. The other thing, as I go through this presentation, is really important. You're going to hear a lot of things that are going to may break your mind for some people. All right, it's a lot of misconceived notions about Cub Scouting and Scouting in general. But the whole idea that kids join as a Lion or Tiger and become Eagle Scouts doesn't happen. We actually ran the numbers one year. 0.001% of kids go from tiger to eagle. If you have a hard time believing that, that's because you have surrounded yourself with that 0.001%, right? I mean, they're out there, right? It's not that they don't exist. It just doesn't normally happen. That's not where the majority of people are experiencing scouting. We get Cub Scouts for 1 year. That's how long kids stay in Cub Scouting, on average. We lose 30% of our Cub Scouts every year because they never have a first meeting. They signed up, registered, but their den never got formed. They never got contacted. 30%, right? Big issues, big rocks that we want to accomplish. So while I have a captive audience, I like to kind of make sure you guys are aware of current resources that we have. Scouting.org, this is the homepage for Cub Scouting on scouting.org. If you scroll down, you'll see the section that says Parents and Leaders. Parent section is just for folks who are shopping, they're just kind of checking us out. The other side is for leaders. So when you click on that little button, it turns blue and the resources show up. All right, so this is where all of the stuff should be. Once you get there, I would highly recommend just bookmark the stuff. But on this site, we have things like, well, so we keep this updated. Just want to make sure you're aware. When I refer to, we have this on scouting.org, this is where I meet. We also upgraded training. We created a 4th track in Cub Scouting that is PAC Committee member. 4 years ago, you had to be, if you're a PAC Committee member, to be trained. You also had to take the same training as the PAC Committee chair, which was like, I think, 4 hours, right? So now we've got that down to just, it's actually really 45 minutes, but under an hour. And also, the way that we created the training was modularized. So you have these little modules. Everyone's shaking their head because I know everyone's fully trained in this room, right? So you take the module and it sticks with you. So you don't have to repeat it. So this really makes it easy that most Cub masters were den leaders. It's usually that flow. So if you're a fully trained den leader, you only have to take one training module, it's 12 minutes long, and now you're a fully trained Cub master. You don't have to repeat anything, right? So that really makes it easy to be able to have fully trained leaders in our program. Makes it much more attractive. We also have these resources. These are den leader onboarding kits. All right, so if you're trying to recruit a den leader, I highly recommend that you download this or grab the URL address and send it to the person that you're trying to talk to about being a den leader. This really helps them understand what they're agreeing to do. Philosophy, there's 2 things you should always have with you when you go to recruit a volunteer. One is what? No, I know that. I love the optimism, but no. It's an open book test, by the way.
You should have
a position description, not a job description, a position description.
Yes.
What are you asking me to do specifically? Right? You're going to have a much higher rate of success when the person who says yes knows what the job is they're saying yes to. And not just saying yes so that they get back home to their other kids that they left at sign-up night. Right? So, what's the second thing you should have with you? Not on vacation. Food. Well, this is a great teachable moment. All the wood badgers in the room. Another volunteer. So much easier to say no to someone one-on-one, but when there's 2 of us, and we're like, you know, we think you're the best person to be the den leader for our 2nd grade. We've seen you interact with kids, we've seen you interact with adults. You're the best. Kind of hard to say no to that. That's a real ask, right? Not, who wants to be the 2nd grade wolf den leader? We need so much help in our pack. We will find a space for you. You sound desperate, right? Because you are, right? But you can't show it. So that's the shotgun approach. Don't use the shotgun approach. Use the rifle approach. Take a little bit of time. Part of the problem that we have, though, is our current Cub Scout program, the way it's designed, doesn't give you that time. Because we want those dens to get started and formed right away. There's not a lot of ability to have some kind of opportunity to get to know the parents before you start asking them to do things. So what happens is you get the first person that says yes, and then 2 weeks later you're ghosted, and you've lost a den.
Yes.
Never happened before, right? All right. So we also have these resources for PAC committee member and Cub master as well. It is step by step. This is your application. This is how you do youth protection training. This is what you should do week 1, first month, so forth. Great onboarding tool. Who watches Cub Chat Live? Raise your hand. Oh, good. If you don't, here's the QR code. Cub Chat Live is on Facebook Live event we do every week, every Friday at 2 p.m. Central. It's either myself, our national chair, or our national Cub Scouting commissioner who does a topic. We look at social media, we see what people talk about, what are they confused about, what are the issues and topics, and then we pick that and we go a little bit of a deep dive in that. We're also using this as a platform for the updates. So stay tuned regularly. Right now it's pretty much the first Friday of the month moving forward is going to be a topic that is detailing some of the program updates.
Also, I'm going to say, if you're on Facebook and you go to the Scouting Magazine Facebook page, it shows up on the Scouting Magazine Facebook page.
All the Facebook pages that are owned and operated by the GSA, it's simulcast at there. If you can't watch at 2 p.m. Central on Fridays, that's okay. We record every show and we post them on our blog. They're also now recorded as podcasts. So if you listen to podcasts, you can also then subscribe and not miss an episode. So all past episodes back there. This QR code will take you to that page. Cub Scout Roundtable videos we have available. These are just like 8-minute videos, real quick and concise. Anyone use Roundtable videos? Good, I'm in the right place. All right, so these aren't just for Roundtable. This is for your unit as well. All right, so if your unit has a problem recruiting volunteers, we have a topic on that, how to do that. How to onboard your den leaders when you recruit them. We have a Roundtable topic on that. How do you do your Pinewood Derby, your blue and gold? What's a PAC committee look like? All those things we have as roundtable topics, 8 minutes, you can show it to everyone in your PAC, and you guys have a conversation around it. All right, so we're going to get started with the updates for Cub Scout. When we start this journey, we really want to have kind of a compass, a moral compass, a North Star. And so we asked ourselves, what words do we want people to describe Cub Scouting as? We had to use short, simple words for one very important reason. I went to Florida State University, so we got to use small, short words so I can understand it. If I can understand it, we're good. Thank you for appreciate the jokes.
What university was that?
Florida State University.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we have a great football school. So fun, simple, easy. It has to be fun for Cub Scouts. We talk about it all the time. But that's actually wrong. And I hope today I change your mind about this. You have to make Cub Scouting fun for parents and leaders. If they're not having fun, they're leaving.
Yes.
And last time I checked, Cub Scouts don't drive themselves to den meetings. All right? With trying to figure out, I've got 2 wolves and a tiger and 1 bear. What do I do with those 4 kids? Our program structure doesn't support that. But that's the reality of our program delivery. We need something that's scalable. It can be used with a small... my pack was small when I started it. I had 5 tigers and 3 bears. What did we do? Right? And this was the program before this program. It was the one before that. Really hard. Right? So what we have here is the outdoor adventure across all the ranks. Simple requirement. Hands-on, go for a walk outside. Now, we chose that word very specifically. We didn't say hike. What do you think of when you think of a hike? Backpack. Strenuous. Boots. I have to go somewhere in the mountains. Right? That's not what we want. We just want you to go outside and experience the natural elements, wherever that might look like to you. Right? We have to get them to where they're at. So now the pack could say, hey, we're going to meet at the park or in the neighborhood, or we're going to do the walk together. So that's one less thing that a den leader has to plan on their own. And we're going to have little stations of the other things that are required for this adventure. But the big activity, the fun activity, is take a walk. And the distance changes a little bit, but you know what? Kids can walk 2 miles, right? The kindergartners and first graders can walk 2 miles, right? So if you plan a 2-mile hike, no big deal, right? I mean, that's the idea. All right, so COVID hit. That was super fun. So we said we have some time on our hands. We're going to go ahead and start digging into all the adventures. So we dug into all the elective adventures and we adjusted all the elective adventures. This is the current Code of the Wolf adventure. This is a super fun adventure, super easy to deliver, all right? But if you're a non-legacy parent and you've got 30 minutes to plan the next den meeting, because we never do that, right? And you're looking for a fun, simple, and easy adventure to do, is this it? No. How many activities do you actually have to do to earn this adventure?
4.
5. Only the BSA does it take us 2 pages to tell you that we want you to do 5 things. Right? So what we did was we uncomplicated the adventures and the requirements. We got rid of all the options. Do 2 of 3, 5 of 6, do A or B, whatever. Here are the new requirements for Code of the Wolf. 4 things. This is how it's written. Doesn't take us 2 pages. Fun, simple, and easy. Right? They're doing basically the same things that they were doing in the adventure before. We just cleaned it up to make it a lot easier to understand and didn't get tied up in this is exactly how you have to do it as part of the requirement. There's going to be leader resources that we're going to get to later, but this is focused on the outcome. What do we want you to do? Not necessarily how exactly we want you to do it. We actually surveyed this. We talked about the den leader survey that we sent out to all registered den leaders. We had 12% response rate. We asked them these questions. Do you think that this, for every adventure, do you think that these requirements are age appropriate? Do you think that they'd be engaging for your den? And are we delivering on scouting's commitment, our values? Do you think we're in our swim lane? Right? Dark green is good, very good. Green is just good. Pretty darn good. Overall, 90%, rating like 95%, 90 to 95% of folks are saying yes, thumbs up. We like it. We like these requirements. That's what you all said to us. When you didn't like it, we went back to the drawing board and reworked the adventures. So the best example was Bobcat. Our first stab at Bobcat and redesigning Bobcat was an absolute disaster. And so we took that feedback and we read every single response because we asked, part of the survey is, what did you like about this and what would you change? And we read every single one. And if there's 10% or more of a common theme that we heard from the field, we adjusted to meet to that. We also asked, how long do you think this would take? The current den leader guides, who uses the current den leader guides? Okay. Current den leader guides say 2 meetings and an outing for every adventure. No one's doing that. If you are, congratulations, but that's, right? You say, oh, we use them, but you're not using them all, right? So it's 2 meetings out. That's too much, right? Adventures and coins. Do we need to do 2 meetings and outings for adventures and coins? So really what we looked at, how are people using the program? And they really want is 1 adventure, 1 meeting. So most adventures can be done in 1 meeting based on what you said to us when we showed you the requirements. Now, some will take longer, right? If there's an overnight camp out, that's going to be more than 1 meeting, right? There's other things like Baloo the Builder, going to take more than 1 meeting to do that. But on the most part, most adventures will be done in 1 meeting. The fluctuation here between 30 and 90 minutes is, well, if you've got 20 kids in your den compared to 5 kids in your den, probably going to have a variation of time of how long it's going to take to do something. The next piece was reimagining awards to adventures. So these are all great topics, by the way. My degree is in math education, all right? I'm not anti-STEM. This is a key element. I am married to the outcome, right? The idea of having STEM and scouting is that kids are exposed to STEM in a meaningful way. That's the output. The method of how we get there, we can't be married to because we have to be able to abandon what's not working so we can find something that does work to get to the outcome that we want, right? So that's why STEM Nova awards have gone away, right? They weren't working. 1% of Cub Scouts earning STEM Nova, that's not exposure to STEM. And then when we asked parents about their experience, it was negative. Very complicated, very hard. So they did it once and then they were done. And they would tell other people not to do it. We have a Net Promoter Score on it. The only thing we've ever tested the Boy Scouts of America that had a negative Net Promoter Score. If you know about Net Promoter Scores. World Conservation Award, we're going to talk about that. Conservation, summertime activities, outdoor activity award. National Summertime Pack Award was created to do what? Get packs to do stuff in the summer. Well, we asked them, guess what? Packs are doing it. That was created at a time to get packs to start doing things during the summertime. Well, guess what? It worked. Packs normally do things during the summertime, right? So the concept of the award isn't fitting the current situation. Now, is it a bad topic? No, but we did adjust it to the way it's being used today. We asked them, are these awards driving your behavior? In other words, are you doing something different in your program planning just so that you guys can earn this award? And orange means no, we're not. We're just doing the program. Again, this is also just based on the people who actually completed the award. The only one that was different was STEM Nova, right? They said, yes, we changed things around so that we do STEM Nova awards, but then we asked about the net promoter score. It became a negative net promoter score. So that's not good. So the idea here is that we take currently what's only being earned by 1.5% of Cub Scouts, and we put it into the adventure program. They're elective adventures now. Then the direct line of sight of the den leader. They're in your handbook. You don't have to go to a separate website, download a separate form, find out who the council conservation chair is, that they can sign off on your advancement, because when you call the council and say, who's the council advancement chair, or council conservation chair, they're like, huh? Right? Not many out there. STEM Nova counselors, that was the same issue. Adventures, elective adventures on average are earned by 15 to 25% of Cub Scouts in that grade level, right? So here we have a chance just by simply taking the content, putting it into the elective adventures to increase exposure tenfold of these topics. Again, that's the outcome that we want, right? We're not married to the process, we're married to the outcome. Right? These pictures look familiar to you? Anyone use this for your flyers, recruiting kids, getting them to join? Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. Let me tell you why. All right? Let's see if you can put this together. And I didn't put this together until I put this slide together. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe we've been doing this. All right. Join Cub Scouts. You get to go bike riding.
If you're a tiger.
Only in first grade. Right? Join Cub Scouting. You get to go fishing. Only in third grade. Right? Pinewood Derby. What's that? Like where is this? I love Pinewood Derby, right? It's the most iconic thing, one of the most iconic brands that we have within Cub Scouting, but yet where is it? Where does it live? Like, it's just this thing, right? So, fishing and other activities, we know, non-Cub Scout age kids, both boys and girls, these are the things that they rank that they want to do or would like to do in the outdoors. Top 10, constantly through surveys of non-Cub Scout families and Cub Scout age kids, right? So why are we restricting these activities to one grade level? So what we do is we take these most popular activities and we make them adventures across all the ranks. So now there's an adventure for Pinewood Derby. It's now part of the program. It's in their handbook. You can either do Pinewood Derby or Rain Gutter Regatta. Fishing. Yay! We can now do a fishing day and everyone can earn their adventure. We can do cycling and pick a day and do a bike rodeo and everyone can earn an adventure. So now your pack can start planning fun, engaging activities together. It's easier for den leaders to start planning maybe together, right? The bears and wolves get together and they can plan the activity together. The requirements change a little bit, but the main activity, that's the hard part, right? That's the same. So it really makes it smooth and easy to be able to get kids into, and how many elective adventures do you need? 2, right? So who does Pinewood Derby? Everyone, right? There you go, knocked out. There's an elective adventure that your den leaders don't have to plan. Just participate in, right? Pack's gonna plan a fishing derby, or we're gonna do a bike rodeo. If you guys do one of those, there you go. Fun, simple, easy. That's where we gotta be. STEM and scouting. So we want to make sure that we incorporate STEM into our core program, right? Not just this ancillary award, but it's actually part of Cub Scouting. How do we do that? We make them adventures. So science we're really good at. but because we're Americans, we're really behind in technology and math, right? So here we go, we've got technology, we have new technology adventures across all ranks, we've got required new elective adventures for math across all ranks, and we had to fill in some gaps for engineering. But now there's STEM programming that's a core part of Cub Scouting. Now counts towards their rank. You don't have to find a STEM Nova counselor. You don't have to find anyone else. You can deliver this as a den leader or as a pack. So at the end of the day, we doubled the number of elective adventures that are available. And this chart shows the light colored is existing adventures. The next color are the new ones that we're rolling out. And then the last color are the range and target sports, which don't change as far as how it's delivered. That can only be done at district council activities with a trained, certified range officer. All right? Now, 16 for Lion and Air of Light, because Lions don't start until the fall. I don't want to hear if you're doing anything different. All right? So there's no summer activities, so they have a shorter program. Air of Light, yeah, get out. Shoot. We don't want you sticking around. We don't want to have all these adventures for you. We want you to get going. So this is another chart that shows all the adventures that are available for all ranks. So we have cycling, swimming, camping, and conservation in addition. So these all have hands-on, similar requirement, hands-on requirement that everyone does. So, like, what do you think you have to do for camping? Go camping, right? Conservation, do a conservation project. That's across all the ranks, right? So again, makes it a lot easier to do multi-rank dens program planning or pack program planning. Pack meetings should be fun. They should not be award ceremonies where you're handing out awards to 100 kids, one after another, and it's taking an hour and a half to do that. Awards should be presented in the den for instant recognition. That actually makes it much more sense if you're trying to do the connection between the behavior and the reward. You want that to be short. So makes it a lot easier to make a fun and engaging activity. All right, so here's your chance. You can start planning now to earn the first elective adventure in the new program for your scouts. Summertime Fun takes the place of the National Summertime Pack Award. All right, there's one requirement. I'm not showing you a sample. This is the requirement for every rank. Anytime during May through August, participate in a total of 3 Cub Scout activities. That's it. One of the things that the committee saw about the Summertime Pack Award was that they thought it was really unfair for the kids that actually went to these activities and the parents that sacrificed to get their kids there, and then they don't get the award because they didn't get 51% of the people to be there. Yeah. This is not contingent on that. This is singular. There's no den or pack award. It is a singular adventure, elective adventure that kids can earn. Now, the thing that you need to know now, this is the other thing that we get. So what rank do you get for what badge, what pin, or what year? And we're going to clarify that because we get to start fresh now. Your current Lions will earn the first grade Summertime Fun, the Tiger Summertime Fun adventure this summer. Your current Lions will earn this one for the summer. All right? Your current 4th graders will earn the Arrow of Light Summertime Fun adventure this summer. All right? Now we have an even set. It's plain and simple. Knife safety. So we got rid of bear claws, right? But not really. What we actually did was we looked at the knife program and we love this. We want this to be part of scouting. And we wanted to actually double down on it a little bit. We want to make it a little bit more practical. All right, so whittling chip goes away. Instead, you have to recertify each year, and you recertify by earning the knife safety adventure for your badge of rank. So just like, okay, currently that's easy, right? 3rd grade, I earned what's called whittling. It's about pocket knife safety, right? We actually make this, it's very similar to bear claws. It's going to look almost exactly the same. The knife safety pledge has been adjusted because the knife safety pledge currently is what? Who can recite the knife safety pledge to me? Exactly. Problematic, right? If you can't do it, how's a 3rd grader do it? So we actually partnered with an industry expert, and we got this down to 4. 4 little principles that you have to know about your knife before you use it. And this doesn't matter if it's a pocket knife or anything else, right? So really simplified that. In 4th grade, you can't use a knife until you've earned this knife safety adventure. You have to get recertified, right? But this time, we're actually talking about using a kitchen knife. More likely to use a kitchen knife in Scouts BSA than you are a pocket knife, right? Because almost every meal they're cooking. And we want to encourage them to make fresh meals, chopping, slicing, so forth. We actually were calling that slice and dice, and someone said, don't call that slice and dice. That means something else in the world of gaming, and it's not going to come across right. So we just changed it to chef's knife. And then in 5th grade, it's knife safety, and it's both. It's pocket knife safety, and it's kitchen knife safety. So if they've been in the program before, that's fine. This is repetition because it's certification about something that can be dangerous. It's preparing them for Scouts BSA.
Anthony, so the whittling chip is retired, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And so if you're looking for a card to prove that the kid earned the thing, use the pocket certificate for adventures. There you go. Or just show the award. I had it. All right. Here's the next fun part. You ready? Because if you haven't heard this before, it's gonna take a long time for people to accept. Weeblos is no longer preparing Cub Scouts to join Scouts BSA. Weeblos is no longer preparing Cub Scouts for Scouts BSA. Weeblos is a standalone program for 4th grade Cub Scouts, just like Bear is our standalone Cub Scout program for 3rd graders. Now, every rank is associated with a grade, period. There's no exceptions. Arrow of Light is for 5th graders, and this is where we are unabashedly preparing you for Scouts BSA. Unabashedly. What I mean by that is you have to go camping as an Arrow of Light for your outdoor adventure. If you don't like camping, you're going to hate Scouts BSA. All right? So we're not, there's no exceptions, there's no outdoor activity. No, you have to go camping. Unabashedly, this is getting you ready for the next level of Scouts BSA. We are trying to make this as seamless as possible in your 5th grade experience. We work hand in hand with Scouts BSA in the full development of the Arrow Light program. And I think you may like what we have. So the 1st grade is the uniform. 4th grade, right? Stay in the blue uniform. Now, let me make this very clear. In the uniform insignia guide, there's this little thing that talks about your uniform, and you can wear any uniform from any era, and it's correct. You just have to make sure it still has all the accurate badges for the time of that uniform. So the time of the uniform that your kids have now is accurate and stays that way for perpetuity. All right? So no one has to go out and change their uniform because we make a uniform change. You don't have to change your badges of rank because we made a change there either. All right? So that's the first relief. You're like, oh my God, I gotta buy a new. No, you don't. 5th graders, Arrow of Light, Scouts BSA uniform. The only difference, the blue shoulder loops. All right? There's no Arrow of Light hat that you wear for 5 months, 4 months. There's no Arrow of Light belts or Arrow of Light neck, all that kind of stuff. None of that. Plain and simple. If they want to wear a neckerchief or a hat, that's their discretion, just like it is at a troop. When do you transition into the tan uniform? Common sense, right? So don't let anyone freak out about this, right? Okay, here are some examples. There's probably some others I missed here, but for example, maybe you want to buy the tan uniform when you earn your Weeblos badge of rank because it goes on the tan uniform. That might be a good time to buy the tan uniform. You might want to just wait until you've completed the 4th grade and then buy the tan uniform. That's okay too. Or your kid's uniform may have screaming buttons on it and they can't tuck it in anymore because it's too short. That might be a good time to buy a tan uniform and not another blue one, right? Even though you're still in 4th grade. That's okay, right? So again, what's the Cub Scout motto? That saves us so much, so many things. The Weeblos colors, since I can't have Weeblos on this anymore, we change it to the adventure colors, right? So it's the adventure colors. And now the pins, Webelos and Air of Light don't share elective adventures anymore. They have their own unique adventures, elective adventures. And so the shapes of those pins will now coordinate with their badge of rank. So the oval ones are going away. And then we will replace those with, if it's a Webelos, it'll be diamond. If it's Air of Light, it'll be the arrowhead. And the way you tell the difference, same way you tell the difference on the adventure loops, colored, fully colored is required, monochrome is elective. Ooh. So this means we have a new book. Because we have two separate programs. We have a Webelos handbook and an Air of Light handbook. But you'll notice something that's on the cover of the Air of Light handbook. Ooh, Scout Badge of Rank. So this handbook has all the required and elective adventures for Webelos. This has all the required and elective adventures for Air of Light and how to earn your Scout Badge of Rank. Clearly transitional book. My first meeting as an Air of Light to a troop, I don't need to have my Scouts BSA handbook right away to start working on my Scout Badge of Rank. The content's right there. It's already in my book. So how do we prepare Cub Scouts and Air of Light to join Scouts BSA? It's not just in one adventure. Right now, it's really only in one adventure, the scouting adventure. And they kind of throw everything into that adventure. And people kind of do it. You know, they usually save it to the end as the last one, and they kind of have to scramble to do it. So here, what we've done is in every required adventure, we have embedded something that's preparing you for Scouts BSA. So it's throughout the whole required adventures, right? So for Bobcat, we talked about this earlier, they form a patrol. They elect a patrol leader. This is a big thing. They go and visit with a troop as part of their Bobcat. So for scout leaders and Scouts BSA, this is going to be a critical thing if you're working with troops for them to understand that 5th graders are going to be contacting troops in August and September and not March and April. That's a big shift, right? So we want to make sure that troops are prepared for that Cub Scouts are going to be coming to them earlier than before. But it also now makes it a lot easier because now you can just say your Air of Light Scouts, right? Your 5th graders, are they ready? Right? Who's coming over? Scouts BSA, that was a critical path for them, and we agree. We want this connection to happen as soon as possible because they can start helping them with adventures and planning activities. But more importantly, parents have to get comfortable with Scouts BSA leadership. Believe it or not, there's some parents who get a little uncomfortable about their 10-year-old who's made out of Fabergé, China, going 2 states away for a week at summer camp with a bunch of 16-year-olds. That's not a fun thing for a parent to think about, right? So they have to be comfortable with these Scouts BSA troop leadership so that they're more up to, oh, yes, okay, yes, this is okay. I understand the youth leadership model and I kind of understand how this goes. My child's going to survive. And that really those 16-year-olds, they don't want to hang around with my 10-year-old. Outdoor adventure, you learn about the Scout basic essentials, not the Cub Scout 6 essentials. Again, we stopped teaching all things Cub Scouting and just totally shift to Scouts BSA. With your Scouts BSA patrol, go on a camp out. After your camp out, discuss. It's thorns and roses, right? Start, stop, continue. That's what we do in Scouting. That's what we do in Scouts BSA. If you're not familiar, that's what we do. Personal fitness, this is where we introduce tracking for the first time. There's no requirement in any of the adventures that say you have to track something for multiple days. This is the first time we introduced that because that's what you do in Scouts BSA. Citizenship, and these are all the requirements for it. These aren't samples. So when people say, how are they going to be able to earn their adventures in time to cross over? This is how. These are really easy. This is one meeting, half a meeting maybe. This is a plan your camp out, right? So you're going to do your camp out. Personal fitness can take about a week, but that's one meeting. Citizenship, 2 requirements, right? Here we want them to start helping plan, but then tracking their service hours. Again, you start tracking service hours in Scouts BSA, so that's how we're preparing them for that. And then first aid. We heard loud and clear about the gap that we have right now, that we have first aid in 4th grade, but no first aid in 5th grade. And so what happens if the kid joins in 5th grade? Scouts BSA leaders told us loud and clear they want kids to be really well prepared first aid when they cross over into the troop. So this is where it is. We've got the first aid is right into the fifth grade, preparing them for Scouts BSA. And then the duty guide adventure, 3 requirements. The third requirement is very much like how they will be asked in Scouts BSA to talk about duty to God. Explain that in your own words and what that means to you. And that's very typical in a Scouts BSA troop of how that is asked in a board review. So here's the big attention. We highly recommend that your 4th grade Weeblos right now don't work on Arrow of Light. All right? Don't start it. Right? Keep on just doing the Weeblos stuff. What we recommend is that you focus on the Weeblos elective adventures that will not be part of Arrow of Light next year. And specifically, that's what these are. Aquanaut, Word Explosion, Aware and Care, Build It, Earth Rocks, and Modular Design, those elective adventures are staying in 4th grade. So there won't be a 5th grade equivalent, except for swimming. So that's our big push. Don't work on Arrow of Light. 4th grade. Where do you put your badges of rank? This is how I say I don't care. I really don't. A lot of the reasons why the badges were positioned a certain way in Cub Scouting has to do with arrow points. Originally, wolf had to be on the left, and bear had to be on the right, because your arrow points went underneath the badge of rank that you earned those arrow points in. Everyone shake their head from my Gen Xers. Yep, gotcha. All right. So that doesn't exist anymore. So the position of the patch, the badge of rank, doesn't really matter where it goes. So here's my little train of thought. Where's the easiest place to put a badge? Right? So your first badge of rank that you earn in Cub Scouting, put it there. I think the easiest one after that is maybe to the left, and then to the right, and then down, right? We really don't care, but that means that this is going to look a little bit different based on when the kid joined Cub Scouting, which it does anyway, right? It just doesn't look like it's going to be pocketed as much. This is a little bit neater, maybe. Again, we don't get people tied up in that. You don't have to go and change your uniform now, and All right. So now we're going to talk about, and this is some of the fun, exciting stuff, because this is stuff that we haven't shown yet, is how we're going to deliver this. Where does our program live? Right? But manifest that. It's in our handbook, right? Technically, it's just our handbook. So, the new handbook covers, this is what they look like. If you haven't seen them before. A couple things that we've done is we've added the grade to the cover. So you actually know, you don't have to ask anyone at Scout Shop, which handbook do I need? It's right there. We added a place to put their name on the front cover, and so you don't have to open up the book to figure out who left their book, right? It's right there. You'll notice the tiger looks a little bit different. So we took the lion book, we liked the concept. So the current lion handbook is activities that are very age appropriate. The problem is it's chintzy. It's really small, it's clip art, it's not great, it's not world class, all right? So that's a problem. It comes with what?
Stickers.
And?
Parent guidebook.
No, it comes with a den leader guide.
Oh, den leader guide, true.
So if you're not the den leader, when you get that, what do you do with that?
Away.
Woo! There's a trash. All right. So now I'm spending, I think it's $13 on a 14-page book and stickers. Right. Not great value. So Tiger, the current Tiger handbook is not age appropriate. First graders don't read paragraphs. If yours does, great. Congratulations, they're above the reading curve, right? But especially after COVID, kids don't read at that level, right? We had a huge COVID slide. So we make this an activity book like the Lion book. And instead of having a den leader guide, both of them come with adult partner guides. This is the handbook for your child. This is your handbook. And it's designed to do the same thing. Onboard the parent. This is Cub Scouting. This is how you implement Cub Scouting at home. This is what Cub Scouting den meetings look like. This is how you may want to deliver Cub Scouting as a den leader. Right? This is how you do it. The other books are going to be about the same page count as they currently are today, about 300 pages. And they will all be spiral bound. Here's the inside of the Lion handbook. So front cover, this is their adventure trail. And if these characters look familiar to you, does anyone know where they're from?
PBS.
Better. Scout Life magazine. Scout Life magazine has a cartoon strip for each rank in Cub Scouting. There's a lion Cub Scout strip. There's a tiger Cub Scout strip. All right. So we got those artists because we kind of know them to design the handbooks. So we got them to do all the art for it. So here's their adventure trail, and then this is an example of an activity that they do. The page count, the book triples in size. It's now a 68 page count book. There's an adventure activity sheet for one. There's one or two or three, sometimes more, activity sheets for each adventure. So there's something for them to do, hands-on. It can be used as a gathering activity. It can be used to introduce the adventure. It's not fill out the book and you earn the rank. All right, so it's not that. It helps to reinforce, maybe there's a requirement about where does food come from, right? So this is them. They cut out their pieces, then they put it to the appropriate space of where that food comes from. And here's the tiger one. So here's the tiger trail, and then here's samples of sheets from the tiger activities. Super fun, right? Super cute, it's very age appropriate, right? Here's the tech all around. Draw a smiley face around the ones that they're doing it right, and a frowny face around things that they're doing wrong, right? Circle the ones that are showing good sportsmanship, right? So it's super fun, super engaging, very age appropriate for Cub Scouts. And now they can also see that across the board. Here's the inside cover. Here's the inside of the Wolf Handbook. So you'll see little tweaks, not a lot. You still have the chapter lead. We have the snapshot of the adventure, but now the requirements fit on about half a page now. There's no 2 pages of requirements. And then you'll notice something down here is that we have a QR code. We'll show you where that QR code goes in just a minute. The rest of the inside of the book looks very familiar. You'll see that we like QR codes, so we use those when we can to help guide people to, this is the parent guide, the actual source document. And then we also tab the back. This is actually a comment that we got from the feedback when we looked at the surveys and read everything. Even though we didn't ask anyone's opinion on this, someone said, you know, you really should tab the back of the book. So now you'll see in each chapter there's this little color thing, and that helps you so that on the back here, if you want to find where the Champions of Nature adventure is, you can then match up the color to the spine because it shows to the book, boop, and pop it open, there you are. Super easy. Yeah, kind of neat. Sometimes like we look like we've been around for a while, that we know what we're doing, right? All right, so this is what the leader resources. These are wireframes, by the way. These are mock-ups still. These aren't final design cuts, so you might see some errors in there or some fill-in text. But generally speaking, this is what it's going to look like, and this is the way it's going to flow. So first of all, the Scout Book Den Leader experience is going away. You can applaud. We're not hurt by that. We listened. We heard you loud and clear. But we also listened to what the pain points with that was. And the biggest pain point was that you had to be a registered den leader to access it, right? Not everyone could see it, right? And so, but they love the program content. We love that layout. We love what's there. It's all there, right? You didn't like the calendaring. That was a pain, right? Right. So we listened. We listened. So the leader resources are going to live on scouting.org, period. No login, no password, no my.scouting, nothing like that. It's all right there. So now you can share this content with parents. You can share it with a guest speaker. Someone suggested that earlier this morning. I'm like, oh, yeah, you could do that too. Like, we didn't design for that, but we designed it to be open source and easy to share. Fun, simple, and easy. So let's say I'm the Lion leader. I'm going to go to the Lion page. So each badge rank will have its own page. It'll list all the required adventures and electives. This is kind of our start here dummy. This is Bobcat, nice and big and bold. This is where we really want you to start. You don't have to, but this is really where you should start. And then you click on the adventure that you want to work on. And each adventure has its own page. So this is where that QR code in the handbook goes to. So as a den leader, you open up the handbook, boop, scan the QR code, it's going to take you to that adventure page. The adventure page is all the stuff that you need to deliver the program. So it starts off with a safety moment. Here's all the safety considerations you need to know about this adventure. So if there's a form to fill out, there's a hyperlink to the form. If there's something about Guide to Safe Scouting, there's a hyperlink to that. If there's training involved, there's a hyperlink to that. There's a safety moment video. It's all right there. You don't have to go back and forth. You don't have to have something in front of you. It's right there in your direct line of sight to ensure that we have a safe program. And then you have the requirements, boop, listed out. And then we list the requirements again. Underneath that, we have these activities. So the first requirement, or this requirement, is have your adult partner or den leader read the scout law to you, demonstrate they understand being friendly. All right, so there's 3 different activities that we have that meet that requirement. You can just pick one. Or if you got something better, do that. So how do you know which activity to do? Well, it's based on the resources you have. Resources change week to week, doesn't it? Some weeks, 30 minutes, I got 10 minutes, I forgot, I got a den meeting, right? Others, I got some time off work, I want to do something, I want to do an awesome den meeting this week, right? So each of these activity cards has these little icons that are based on what the resources of a den leader are. That can change. So first it tells you if this activity is indoor, outdoor, or there's travel required. That's kind of important to know, right? Now, if it says outdoor, it means that you have to do this outdoors. There's no going around that. A lot of indoor ones can be done outdoors because that's a lot easier to convert to, right? But outdoor has to be done outdoors. Travel, right? It's not going to be at your regular den meeting, right? You go into the fire department, probably not your regular den meeting. The next icon, that lightning bolt, that's the energy level of the Cub Scouts during the activity. So a 1 is that it's passive. It's like talk time, right? There's not going to be a lot of engagement there. But a 5, high energy. They're running around, they're playing soccer, they're playing kickball, high energy level, so that's a 5. Supplies, 1 to 5. 1, no supplies needed. You can do this on the fly. So again, I've got 30 minutes to prepare, I'm looking for 1 once. A 5 is, I call it 2 trips to Home Depot. I never take 1 trip. It's really weird. I always forget something. And so that's going to be something that's custom or uncommon. It's going to be there's going to be a build probably involved with that that takes some skill. And then your prep time to do the activity. 1 is there's really no prep time. Read this card, you're good to go. A 5 is there's something a week or longer that's going to take you to do. So if you're going to go visit the fire station, you should probably let them know a week ahead of time that you're coming. Right? So that's a 5. Right? So now, based on my ability and my resources, I can pick an activity that matches my resources for that week. And it doesn't change the adventure that I plan on doing. So if that changes on the fly, I can change as needed. So you click on that, and it takes you to the activity page. Each activity will have its own page. And on that activity page, it tells you, here's your supply list, here are the written directions on how to do this activity, and then any other resources that we might have. We might have a training video on it, we might have pictures of finished projects, we might have downloadable PDFs that help you deliver the program. It might be an activity sheet, might be a worksheet, might be a game card or something like that. All those resources are right there on that one page. And we're working with the web designer so that there's a little print button. So those of you who want a printed version of this, you can go to your heart's desire and make your own Den Leader Guide custom made. So this is our rollout plan. We are about a third of the way through. We're only right here. So if you're saying, well, where's all this other information? We got all this ramp up still. All this ramp up still. We're using Cub Chat Live as our main source of communication nationally to unit volunteers. So we encourage you to watch the first Friday of every month, for the most part, except for May, is going to be, the topic is going to be a focus area of the program update. So February, we're going to talk about Arrow Light and Weeblos changes. So that's a good one to make sure Scouts BSA leaders are watching and tuning into. We will have additional resources for them at that time as well. And then we get into leader resources, Debian plans, then top 10 most common questions, and then safety integration. Scout shops will have all the handbooks in the stores in this spring. So people are saying, where is it, where is it, where is it? It will be in stores in the spring. And the new adventure loops and pins will be in the stores at that time as well. Training will be updated in May. We will flip the switch on training at that time. So the old training will go away and the new training will show up in May. And then we'll do some updated roundtable videos and posts in May as well. And then in June is when the flicks gets switched in Scout Book. All the new stuff will show up. You will have time up and through August to be able to enter any old or current, if you will, current program advancement into Scout Book. If you're behind or whatever. Yeah.
I have a question. Will the badges be available this spring too, so like our current Lions could get the diamond instead of the strip?
Yes. Yep. Right.
When does the den leader experience go away?
June 1st.
Okay.
Yeah. QR code, if you want to take a quick snap of this to stay up to date. We do have a Cub Scout Program update website that has some of these slides on there along with the description of what's updating. So if you go to scouting.org, it'll take you there. This actually gives you this. It gives you, here's a quick link to the program updates. Here's a quick link to Cub Chat Live and the podcast of Cub Chat Live. One of our committee members developed that. We thought it was pretty cool. About half of our committee members, by the way, are actually